that because your man messed up, you thought about going to a woman, then you're all over the place and you definitely don't know what you want. And that's part of the problem. Listen, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button while I tell you about somebody who definitely does know what they want. The other day, streamer Brooke Frost said that she's bored with this Iranian-U.S.-Israeli war because low-key, she wants to see some action. She wants to see some planes going. Because him and Michelle's combined net worth is about... Hey, yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Check this out. The other day, Keke Palmer was doing an interview, and while she was talking, she shared her thoughts on successful women dating men who earn less, emphasizing that love is love. And while she was explaining, while there's no problem with a well-to-do, successful woman dating a man who earns much less than her, she brought up Oprah Winfrey and her longtime partner, Stedman Graham, as an example, expressing frustration over the negativity Oprah once faced because she chose to date and love a man that was not in her same income bracket.
Nobody cares when a man finds his woman under a bridge.
No, I live for Stedman, but you know that Stedman has for many decades been the butt of jokes.
Yeah, because of gender rules.
Yes.
People feel like because she's Oprah Winfrey, who did y'all want her to be with? Barack Obama? That doesn't make sense, guys. I mean, I feel like that's the weird thing about powerful women, what we're left with.
So
I'm supposed to find love, but he's got to have a certain amount of money, but at the same time, I got to still be like... Guys, what's going on here? Why am I... Nobody cares when a man finds his woman under a bridge. No one cares.
No one
cares. And I frankly don't care if that's who you love, that's who you love. Why do we have to deal with that?
Yes.
That to me makes no sense. I ain't never... Look, my daddy told me a man needs to treat you right. He needs to handle and service you in whatever way you need service. Let me tell you one thing that Keke don't need. Money. From nobody. Now, if you want to give a little something and get my nails done, something cute,
but shouldn't they do that? But shouldn't they make that effort?
Yeah.
But
you might still look like Stedman to the world, and that's a great role.
Because if
I was married to, I was with Oprah Winfrey,
you should be sitting up your way.
Shitland.
Yeah.
And Stedman, by the way, Stedman's esteemed.
Yeah.
Stedman has that whole career. He's just like Oprah.
Yeah.
So the fact that how dare people compare you to your lover?
Yeah.
I hate that Oprah had to endure that.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate that she had to endure that.
It's
and I hate that Stedman had to endure that. And that's why I said what I said, because you had a good role.
Mm-hmm.
You were supposed to be my Stedman.
Yes.
Come on.
He was.
When I played that for my dad said, yeah, because why did he want to be Stedman?
Now, after Keke Palmer said what she said, a whole lot of people came in the comment section, and one person said, Keke Palmer seems to be the only celebrity that never loses track of reality. And then somebody else was like, it's good until he feels inadequate and emasculated. And then, last but not least, somebody else came through and said, Keke's defending her baby daddy. Don't let her send y'all off. All right, so here's my thing. I find that a lot of men and women, when they're talking about relationships, spend too much time thinking about money. See, Oprah found what was good for Oprah, and you need to find what's good for you. And sometimes one size doesn't fit all. For example, you may need a man who makes much more money than you because that's what makes you feel secure. However, for somebody else, that might not even enter into the equation because their needs and wants may be different than your needs and wants. And for everybody out there who's like, yeah, Oprah should have got her a Barack Obama. Do you guys not understand that even if Oprah Winfrey got with the Barack Obama, he would still be making much less money than her because him and Michelle's combined net worth is about $70 billion, whereas on her own, Oprah Winfrey is worth $3.15 billion. So she's not going to find a man who's making the same amount of money as her. I mean, yeah, she could have got with somebody like Elon Musk, but who wants to roll over and see that robot laying in the bed next to him? See, what people need to understand is that when you're looking for a partner, you're not looking for the bag. What you're looking for is the entire package. And sometimes that package doesn't come with a bigger check, but instead they balance out the relationship account in other areas. Now, really quick, let's look at somebody who went for the money. Portia Williams went for the money. She saw Simon.
All right, let's build on that. Last week, around this time, you know, I work with a young lady. She's Nigerian, and, you know, let me say she's been Americanized, and she was talking about I don't know where it come out, where it came from, but out the blue, she was talking about, I wish a guy would tell me that I need to do 50-50 to be with him. So I'm hearing her talk. So I'm nosy, right? So I say, what do you mean by that? She was like, I just hear guys talking about 50-50 now, So when you take me out, I gotta pay for the check, half for the check. I say, well, if that's your guy, no. And if he's, if he's your guy and you're his woman, no. I think you got the wrong information because I preach, and I done talked about this over and over if you follow me. Um, it's nobody's job to take care of you at the end of the day. I'm just going to keep it 100. It's nobody's job to take care of a woman, and it's nobody's job to take care of a man. You should not put stress on nobody to that degree. Now, I'm going to get some pushback for that, and that's okay because it's different types of relationships. For myself, I am that guy that was traditionally trained. Like, you find you a good woman, and if she represent herself as a woman, you marry that woman, you have kids by her, and you take care of her. Her role is to take care of the home and take care of the babies, and take care of you. Okay, so with that being said, I found me a traditional marriage to be in, which was my first marriage, but my wife was a working woman. She educated, she got a good job, and she's an independent woman. So, and I'm still trying to do the traditional thing. So, me looking at my grandfather and my uncles and my dad and how they took care of their women. So I'm doing the same thing, trying to do the most, provide the most. So even though my wife worked, made good money, okay, cool. I say, look, what I need you to do is do utilities and buy food. That's it. I got the big bills. So that was my role. Took care of the we had no house at the time. So I took care of the rent, the car notes, the insurance, all the big stuff. You know what I'm saying? And our bills might have been 5G a month. So out of the 5Gs, my first wife took care of just $800 of the bills. So I'm coming home doing what I'm supposed to do, being a good dude, because I got all my running out of me before I got married. So at some point we growing apart, and I'm trying to understand why. Now I'm in a business. I work a lot. I work hard, I play hard. But me working a lot allow us to have a comfortable lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? But I was getting complaints from my wife, you gone too much. I'm gone too much. I'm trying to make our money. And then I want to say that when you're dating, when you become exclusive, but you still not married, but when you get married, things change. So I kind of believe that because I allowed a lot of things early on and I wasn't phased by nothing. Go ahead and talk to your friends, your dude friends or whatever. I'm going to talk to my female friends and whatnot. But the minute we became exclusive and let alone married, I made a call to any lady that I was still associated with, on all levels. I say, I'm getting married. I see you when I see you. I'm gonna do right by my wife and whatnot. And that was that. So I was expecting that, my wife gonna do the same thing. Now, not just with guys, but with women I don't approve of. Like, I think we all have friends that we know run around on their spouse and whatnot. You know, when I got married, I was kind of frowning on that. I was like, I don't want you with these type of friends. Even the guys that I know that I knew that was cheating on their wives, I fell back from them because you believe it or not, you are the company that you keep. That's just what it is. If you ain't doing nothing wrong, eventually you will. So, you know, and this is not something I heard, this is something I seen. Because when I was single, the guys that were married, we clowned them guys. What you doing out, bro? Why you out with the fellas and you ain't going to indulge? We leaned hard on them guys and we joked on them. We provoked them and we made them feel like suckers because you was out and you was scared to get numbers and dance and talk to women because that's what we doing as single men. So I say, if you're married, you don't need to be with your single friends. Not all the time anyway. In a setting where it's a singles type of party. That's why when you are married, you should be around couples. Find you couples to go out with and you know what I'm saying? Because that's who you connecting with. Being around single friends and they wilding and that whatnot, either you're gonna be tempted to move like them, or you know what I'm saying, you're gonna develop some bad habits. It's just what it is. Especially if you're drinking, you smoking on something, you're gonna just forget you married for a minute and you're gonna let loose. I done seen it happen. So on the level of that of what I just said, I think I got into strife with my first wife. And she was telling me, you acting like my father more than my husband. And I'm like, well, I'm just conveying to you what I don't like. And as my wife, I expect you to respect it. And I just got a lot of resistance. And it was on something, you can't tell me what to do and who to hang around and woo woo. I knew these people before I knew you. I'm like, okay, well, you're not married to them. You're married to me. So therefore, if I come to you with an issue, I expect you to respect it. And then I'm not asking you to do nothing that I'm not going to do. My foul friends, I'm not hanging with them like that because I don't want to get caught up. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy, so I want to stay that way. So I'm asking you to move like I move, so we can keep what we got together intact, right? So I just feel like for that caused a lot of strife, and we just started drifting apart because our ideologies was changing, and she kept saying to me, "You're changing. You're changing. This is not who I fell in love with." I say, well, from then to now, yes, I have changed because what I tolerated early on when we're married, I'm not tolerating no more. So basically, she was saying, well, you should have been up front when you wasn't cool with things and basically insinuating we probably wouldn't have gotten this far if you would have been up front. And I'm like, well, it didn't bother me then. When you just my friend or we casually going out, until we get exclusive and then to definitely get married, that's when it matters, as far as I'm concerned. So, with that being said, now we're dealing with that issue. And I preach to my son and any sibling come behind me or any young person, which I end up telling the young girl that was talking about a man better not tell me to come with 50-50 to date me, to go out with me. I said, first of all, a lot of people ain't ready to date, to be in a relationship, to be involved, because you need to treat people like they treat you. You know what I'm saying? So, what I'm trying to convey is whatever you got going on in your life that you can offer in a relationship, it should be reciprocated by whoever you're pursuing. Oh, and you need to just start with the basics. If I got a job, you should have a job. If I have a vehicle, you should have a vehicle. You know what I'm saying? I got my own spot. You should have your own spot because of many reasons. Meaning, if my car break down, I shouldn't have to Uber. Because if your car break down, I'm coming to get you. I'm going to get you to work. I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to get you home. So you need to be able to do that for me. You get what I'm saying? It's hot now. You know, a lot of people, air units is going out. I'm not going to have you in no hot house. Come to my house where I got the air going. It's cool. I'm not going to let you sit in a hot house until they get around to fixing your unit. So same with me. Suppose my apartment complex burned down. I shouldn't have to go home to my mother's house. If I'm dating you, I should be able to come to your spot. And then we need to look at that and see, was that fate for us to go ahead and move together, get our own spot, you know, or let me be at your spot until I get my own spot. I might have to be there 2-3 months. So that's what that is, you know, when it's a 50-50 situation. You know what I'm saying? You're providing what you can provide in a relationship, and your partner should be able to reciprocate. I'm just saying. Now, if you caked up and you really like a person that you know that has less than you, then that's a decision you make, and you live with that. But if you broke, you ain't got nothing going on. I don't care how fine you is or how handsome a woman think a guy is. If he ain't got nothing going on, he broke. He's not prepared or she's not prepared to date until they get themselves together and have something to offer. That's all I'm saying. So what I mean is, so let's get back to my first wedding situation. You know, I also find when you allow people to do less, you know, and not, you know, basically share their expenses, they get complacent and they feel like, okay, well, you've been doing it, you do it. You know, not, I'm like, you know, okay, all right, I'm going to do it because that's what I'm groomed to do as a man. But how is it you're not happy and want to leave? I don't understand that part when you're doing the less because I'm being the traditional guy. Oh, I know why you're not happy. It ain't about what you're doing the most or the least, but I saw that was an issue with me once we call it quits. I felt like, well, damn, I'm doing everything. I'm doing all I can, and I'm doing a good job as far as I know. So why you not happy and trying to check out? Because I'm holding you to an expectation. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the company you keep. And, I'm standing on business. But then I'm holding myself accountable as well. So at some point, it just ain't working for you because I'm putting my foot down. So when we decided we're not on the same page and we're going to call it quits, it hurt. Because you know why it hurt with me? Because I did everything and I did most of everything. So I feel like because I didn't hold an expectation where, hey, we share all the expenses, because who get to just chill and sit back, they get real complacent and it's easy to leave. It's easy to leave. If you ain't investing in nothing like a relationship, you ain't spending no for real money, everything being done for you, and you just get to enjoy, I'm like, what I'm saying? It's just easy to check out. Well, this ain't working. Well, I think that's a sign we just need to leave. No. We need to fight for our relationship. And that didn't happen with me. So that's why, and I'm explaining all this to the young girl, right? I say, so, okay, I'm divorced, I'm moving on. So my second marriage, my second situation, I expressed that, hey, what I bring to the table is a must that it be reciprocated, If you need me to live, then I'm not the guy for you because I'm not holding that responsibility no more. I'm not doing the most. I'm not doing the least. You know what I'm saying? We need to go into a partnership that we're going to share the expenses and, we're going to take care of each other. I'm not going to take care of you and you're not going to take care of me. We're going to take care of each other. So that was my sentiment going forward. And I found someone that agreed with that same sentiment. You know what I'm saying? So we share expenses down the line. You got your account, I got mine, and we have an account where we put bills in. We pay bills from that account because I don't want to have to hurt you. If we break up and you want to go to the bank and withdraw all our money, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want you to have to hurt me if I do that. So we're not playing them games. We done got smarter. We done upgraded. We're not playing these games no more at the end of the day. You feel me? So I'm trying to enlighten this young lady and let her know that 50-50 don't mean that every time you go out, you got to pay half the check. It's bigger than that. It's an expectation that you're bringing to the table your worth. And what I mean is, if you bring in a job, you bring in, a residence, you bring in a vehicle to a relationship, that need to be reciprocated by your partner. Bottom line. Because of circumstances that might take place. Therefore, you could depend on each other. You got your bag, I got my bag. Let's bring the bags together and let's win. So that's what I was explaining to the young lady. It ain't about, the bill $100. You gotta pay 50, I gotta pay 50. If this your guy and you his woman, it ain't like that. But in the household, mortgage $3,000, I need you to have your 1,500. How about that? How much is expenses on our utilities and food and all that? That's another G. So I need 500 more up on that. You know what I'm saying? So that's $2,000, and I'm putting up $2,000. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Expenses. You know what I'm saying? And even in that scenario, you're able to save because you're not putting up all of your money. You know what I'm saying? We're coming together to pay bills, expenses in our home. Therefore, money that's left over, we can put that to vacation and go on a nice vacation, exotic vacation. You know what I'm saying? Hawaii, Canada, Mexico, France, Europe, Iceland. You feel me? Not the regular shit that everybody do. Vegas, Miami. You feel me? Ain't nothing wrong with that, but after 2 times, I'm done with that. It's a big world out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to go on cruises and whatnot. I've been on 3 so far, thank God. You feel me? I ain't done. So it's about whatever you can bring to a situation, it need to be reciprocated by your partner. You know, and after all what I said to her, or what I just said to y'all, she was still not understanding or didn't want to understand. I said, good luck to you. I said, that's why you're single now. That's what it is. Because, you're a young lady and you've been misinformed and nobody done schooled you. You know what I'm saying? And let me break down the scenario. Well, you're the man. You supposed to take care of me. You know where that concept come from? My grandfather, my grandmother had 12 kids. My grandmother didn't work. My grandfather had 3 jobs to take care of them 12 kids. My grandmother took care of the house. She took care of the kids, made the meals and whatnot. My grandfather took care of her because she didn't work. So that's where that scenario and that term come from. You're the man. You're supposed to take care of me. Yes, because you don't work. Nowadays, women are very educated. They want to be employed because they want their own identity. So therefore, you're a modern woman. So I'm saying you can't have traditional ways and then want to be a modern woman. So if you want that guy to take care of you fully, then sit down and have a conversation and find that guy. Because in this day and time, no one person need to be doing everything. You can have the securest job ever, like a government job, and they could just take it just like that. So all that stress is on that one person. It shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? We way away from the 70s, the 50s, and 60s. Each person need to be getting up, going to get their bag and bringing it home and putting their resources together to where to be comfortable. And then it go deeper. If I get sick, my wife can carry the ship. She become the captain of the ship until I get better. If my wife gets sick, I'm continuing to be the admiral, the captain of the ship. So that's how that go. So that adds another tier to it. I'm going to say, and I ain't going to say to you to read nobody pockets or sweat nobody pockets, but when you create bills by coming together as a partner, as a unit, don't have your bills and expenses all outlandish, whereas though if you or your partner, him or her, gets sick, that other partner can't take care of the ship and keep the ship running, the household. So whoever gets sick, they need to be able to carry the burden of the household and make sure them bills paid. So that's another element of taking care of your partner or choosing a partner. So it ain't about who make the most money and who make the less money. It's about, can you hang in my lifestyle? Can you fit in my lifestyle? If I go down sick, can you handle these bills and keep our home intact? Can the bills still get paid? Can food still be brought in the house? So that's where the 50-50 conversation comes in at. You know what I'm saying? Share the expenses, save. And then when somebody, like, say like your woman get pregnant, and then, okay, up to the time she can't work no more, you got to hold the fort. So women, you need to date a man who getting substantial money that can do that. You should not be working a whole 9 months, and then even after you deliver your child, you shouldn't be going right back to work. You should be able to be off 6 months, and your guy should be able to handle all that. So get the information, and then you need to critique what's going to be good for you according to, you know, whatever income you're working with. Because basically it all comes down to finance. Romance without finance is a goddamn nuisance. I don't know who the hell made that up, but it's very appropriate. I heard Big Daddy Kane say that in one of his rhymes. And it's for sure. It is what it is. You can't live on love alone. It is what it is. So you need to be getting your paper. I need to be getting my paper. We bring our paper together and we win it. Now, if you papered up and you want to accept someone that's not even kill as you, okay, cool. That's a decision you made. You got it. Okay. You know, like this video saying Oprah and Stedman. You know, Oprah a billionaire. Stedman is probably a $10 million rich type of dude. You know what I'm saying? You know. But he earned his end of the paper. He can fit in Oprah lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? He can keep the utilities on and keep food. He can still fly anywhere around the world, you know, wherever Oprah is at. He fits her lifestyle. He can blend in her lifestyle. So I'm just saying, I done said a mouthful. So you need to analyze what I said and then realize what works for you. You know what I'm saying? If you're a woman that don't want to work and you want to get you a rich dude or get you a dude that will allow you to stay home, then you find that guy. But that's not going to be all guys that's trying to be on board with that. You get what I'm saying? You have a right to have what you want and get what you want. But don't expect that from everybody. I had a young lady tell me back in the day, I want to give you my independence, or my husband my independence. I said, what does that mean? She said, I don't want to work. I said to her, even if I had money, you're not going to not do nothing. Unless you don't work and retire, then that's when I feel is appropriate that you sit back and chill. But just to say I ain't doing nothing, even if we got money, you gonna start a business or something. I just feel like you just can't be lazy and do nothing. You know, I mean, you got too much time on your hand. I'm not cool with it. Maybe some guys will. So go find that guy. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. So let's continue to listen to this.
Gabbana, or whatever his name is, and she saw the Maybach, she saw the big house, and she basically ignored every red flag that came with this ninja. And now he's over there hemmed up by ICE, and she's sitting down talking about at one point she was thinking about switching teams and dating women.
It's lonely. I can't connect with other men. It's like people trying to introduce me, but it's just when it's not the same, it's not the same. So I'm going to do it different this time. I'm going to be alone until I'm whole. And then when I'm whole, then I will, open myself back up so I don't make the same mistake again. When you go through a bad enough breakup, you're like, I don't like nobody. Like, you're like, I don't like nobody. I was sitting there, I was like, do I like women enough? Can I get with a woman? Like, who can come in and fill this void? Like, oh my God, somebody. I have got to be able to sit with someone and feel a part of what I felt with him. But I don't yet. It'll come. It'll come. But I'm like, and I think that now that I'm realizing that, because what I've decided is that I'm not going to look for it anymore. So I'm not going to push myself into dating or anyone or trying to figure out, who do I like? Who could I be around? Because this is probably also part of healing. I mean, just sitting with this, sitting with being alone, sitting with the loss, and let myself heal the loss. And I know I'm crying right now, but I feel good every day. Each day I get better. Each day I feel stronger. But I ain't gonna lie, it's hard. It's hard living lonely when you have to live lonely for a while.
Ooh, boo-hoo, poor baby. Let me tell you something. This chick went for the money, and now she's sitting over there paying child support for his kids. And as far as this whole woe's me, I need somebody to fill a void, even if it's a woman. Oh my goodness. Let me explain something. When you enter into a relationship, you're supposed to enter into that relationship as a whole circle, a whole person. And then when you two link up, you two are supposed to create a union that's full of infinite possibility. And the reason why some people like Portia Williams can't find what they want is because they don't know what they want. If you're going to sit there and tell me that because your man messed up, you thought about going to a woman, then you're all over the place and you definitely don't know what you want. And that's part of the problem. Listen, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button while I tell you about somebody who definitely does know what they want. The other day, streamer Brooklyn Frost said that she's bored with.
All right. I concur with what she just said. You need to be a whole person already before you come into a relationship. Let me put this out there. Again, I preach to my son and 2 kids and everybody that then grew up after me that I raised. Whatever you prepared to bring into a relationship, it need to be reciprocated to you. Don't be nobody fool, and don't let nobody use you at the end of the day, because it don't feel good. You feel me? And therefore, you might lose it and go off and snap on somebody because you gave your all and you done a lot, and somebody brought less energy and less effort, and then they just want to just casually I'm out. I just feel like, and I'm going to end it with this. I'm going to bring it home. When you got somebody that reciprocate what you're bringing into the relationship, you're compatible. It's equal effort going into the relationship. Therefore, you're going to not be quick to just curve that or kick it to the side. You're going to fight for your relationship. So be careful, those that got the bag and you okay with taking care of a beautiful woman. She does nothing, bring nothing to the table, but she just fine. Or be careful to a woman that chooses a guy because he all muscled up and ripped, six pack and all that. You know, he just a handsome dude. He don't bring nothing to the table. He ain't helping the issue. You know what I'm saying? Be careful, because when something you don't agree with, or just say like the relationship run its course and it break down, that person that did nothing and next to nothing will have no problem leaving without trying to work it out and put up at least a fight to save the relationship. They're gonna be okay. I'm Pat. I'm out. Have a good life. And what that look like and what that feel like is like they only gonna leave when they feel like they don't resource to no, that they done got all the resources that they could got or get from you. They done used up all your resources and whatever you had to give, and now I'm on to the next plate that I can eat off. Be careful of these folks, okay? If they not coming with their worth, basically, it don't have to be nothing extravagant. It's whatever you're bringing to the table. If somebody is a good person and you know they genuine but still not equipped to be in a relationship, let them get ready. Let them work on themselves to get ready to be somebody husband or somebody wife, somebody girlfriend or somebody boyfriend. That don't mean that they're a bad person. They just not ready. It's not nobody job to totally take on that kind of responsibility. And I ain't talking about some bullshit relationship. I'm talking about life relationships where you having kids, you buying homes, you paying rent, y'all together, and you know what I'm saying? You can't live on love alone. You gotta be equipped. My grandmother used to say to me, and I always thought she was bugging and just crazy and hard. She said, until you drive, until you got a job, you better not never bring no woman in my house, or to the ladies, no man in my house talking about this is your boyfriend or your girlfriend when you ain't got a job or you're not even driving and don't have a car. She said specifically a car and a job. That's when you're fit to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. And the method to her madness was you're responsible at that point. When you get a license and get a car, you're responsible to drive on the road. The law trusts you to be safe on the road. You got a job, that shows responsibility. So when you're with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you're going to be responsible and you're going to be on point to think about the do's and the don'ts of bringing another life into this world that you can't afford. But with your working, you have a job, you have a job and you have a car. Okay, you're on your way. And that shows a level of responsibility and a level of maturity. She say you can't be growner than me in my household and you don't have a job or a car of your own. So with that being said, When I dated and I brought girlfriends home, I had to tell them, don't say you my girlfriend, you're my friend. She wasn't stupid, but you better not utter them words like you got big balls coming through her door. Or you got big titties coming through her door. She wasn't having it. You know, are you equipped and are you prepared to be a boyfriend or a girlfriend? That's what she would say and had these conversations. She would bust my cousins and, the girl cousins and the dude cousins, where they never wanted to bring no company home. And that's the way she wanted it, unless you did it the right way, which was her way. I told my son that same story, you know. You don't have no girlfriend. You got a friend. I tell my daughter that if I had a daughter. I mean, I got a stepdaughter, but, I would tell her the same thing. You don't have no boyfriend. You have a friend because you're not equipped to be a girlfriend or have a boyfriend. If you or that joker don't have a car and you don't have a job, that's the beginning of it. So I'm just giving you some tips that I abide by and that I grew up on that got me to this point without me having 100 kids that I couldn't afford, because I had people training me and giving me the information. So that's all I'm trying to do. So I hope I help somebody, and you be on your game. They used to say to the guys, my uncles and them, don't let, you know, I ain't gonna be vulgar, but don't let your manhood make a bum out you, meaning don't have more kids than you can afford. Cause every dime you get is going to them kids. And the courts don't care about where you live, that you don't have a car. All they want to know is what kind of job you're going to get so you can send that money to the mother or send the money to the courts, because we're giving health care and support to your responsibility. So we want our money back from you. Don't let your manhood make a bum out you. Simple as that. And to the ladies, don't be having, have some self-respect for yourself. Respect your womanhood and not allow every man that smile at you or tell you beautiful take advantage of you. Again, that's also a protection mechanism. Whatever you prepare to offer in a relationship, it need to be reciprocated. So if you working with an apartment, you got a job, you got your little ride, you should have no dude that have none of these things just because he has them. No, that do not cut it. Go get yourself together and then come back and holler at me if I ain't found a man that's ready to be my guy, because he got it going on and can reciprocate what I bring to the table. You get what I'm saying? I hope I'm helping somebody for real. It's real out here in the field. I'm gonna end right here. Big Day, Streets Finest. You know what it is. We in our anniversary month. You see I'm all spiffed up for you. You feel me? Got the sport coat on. You feel me? This how we doing it. We grown and sexy. We out the jeans and sweatsuits and t-shirts. We spiffy around here. We dapper. You see it. I'm out. Peace.